So the other day I came across this post on Reddit. I'm a first home buyer. I've got a solid deposit and pre-approval in place. I'm finding that quite a lot of real estate agents are asking what price I'm looking for. And as a robustly honest person, it's been quite hard not to answer with the maximum purchase price I have in mind. The stress is so high that I've developed an eye twitch that may look like I'm winking at strangers on the street. Buying a home can be the most exciting and most stressful time of your life. And I hate to tell you, but by revealing the price to a real estate agent, you may have made the single and biggest mistake first home buyers can make when negotiating a property price. In fact, according to this real estate agent, you're setting yourself up to get completely rinsed in negotiations. So in this video today, I'm going to show you with proof how to negotiate and secure your first home without making these same mistakes. I'll tell you why you need to avoid a lowball strategy in the current market, how to call an agent's bluff when negotiating your home price, and the simple clause you can include in your contract to secure a home before everyone else has a chance to make an offer. You might be feeling right now you have no idea how to play this home, and I can understand it's incredibly frustrating. But by the end of this video, you're going to be negotiating like a pro. Hey, but before we start this video, if you get any value in it at all, please give us a bit of a thumbs up below. It means a lot to the channel. And if you want more content like this about finance and buying a home, make sure you hit subscribe. All right, so on to our first tip, lowball offers. You might be in the early stages of buying a home and you definitely don't want to be overpaying. After all, you spent years saving a deposit. But I can tell you right now, in a hot market, a lowball offer is the worst thing you can possibly do. The reality is if you're offering lower or under the suggested property price or the offer's overpriced and the property's in high demand, your offer is likely to get completely ignored. There's been cases we've seen where property prices have been increasing by an amount of $10,000 a week in the same suburb. Right now, the real estate agent's going to be flush with offers, and if you're lowballing, they're just going to go with the next person just to get an easy deal. You need to be going in there completely prepared, not just with the price, but with your pre-approval and be able to do as tight terms as you possibly can. Things like limiting the days for your finance clause and your building in pest with a quick settlement timeframe can also make your offer much more attractive. As a first home buyer, the best course of action here is to have your pre-approval in place, make sure it's fully assessed, and have your broker have everything ready to go so you can do some tight finance clause, potentially under 7 days, to help make your offer as attractive as possible. If you're auction ready, you can even consider waiving those finance clauses to have effectively a cash offer. A cash offer just means you're not going to have contingent clauses like the finance and building pest clause, but you want to make sure everything's fine here, so check with your broker to make sure you're in a position to do this. So it's important to understand the real estate market can be highly competitive, and the sellers and agents are often looking for the least hassle and the quickest route to finding the sale. If you're serious about buying a home, you need to potentially put a serious offer and meet the market to where it's at right now. Just keep in mind the agent isn't technically obligated to call you back after you've made your offer. So once you've made that offer, it could be your first and final time to put the best foot forward. So when you're getting ready to make your offer, there's some critical questions you should ask the agent to give you some insights into the process and help you strategize effectively. First, you want to ask the agent how the offer will be presented. Will your offer be shown to the seller simultaneously or one after another? This can affect how aggressive you need to be with your initial offer. Next, you want to ask the agent if you'll be informed about other offers. Some agents might tell you if they're doing almost like a Dutch auction, a private auction, if there's competing bids, while others are going to keep this completely confidential. Depending on the state, they might make you sign a multiple bid offer form, but they don't always need to tell you if there's another offer on the table. It's also important to ask about the seller's timeframe. Are they looking for a quick sale or do they need to find their next home? Understanding this can help you tailor your offer to the seller's needs. Don't also forget to inquire if there are specific terms that the seller prefers. Maybe they want a longer settlement period because they're going to a retirement home, or perhaps they're wanting to rent back the property for a short time after the sale. Lastly, and probably the most important thing, is you need to ask if there's going to be a chance to improve your offer. I think this is a big mistake people are making in the current market. They're assuming, yep, I'll have another chance, another bite of this cherry to put an improved offer on there. But if the agent's saying this needs to be your best and final offer, then you need to reconsider your strategy right now. Most importantly, with all these questions, the knowledge helps you manage your expectations and reduce the anxiety of just waiting and saying, well, hopefully I don't miss out on this home. There's nothing worse than losing out on a property and wondering if you just offered a little bit more, you could have bought it. Knowing the process up front and what your options are going to help you feel more confident in your decisions. Just keep in mind, with real estate, as with all negotiations, information is power. The more you know about the process, the better equipped you're going to be to make smart decisions and hopefully land your dream home without overpaying. So don't be afraid to ask these important questions. A good agent should be fine to provide you that information. All right, step 2, negotiation tactics. So do you tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Or do you just accept that the other team or the agent is a liar and a cheat? Well, according to this real estate agent, deception and lying are just part of the game. This real estate agent that works in the wider Brisbane area says, just like when you learn to drive and assume everyone else on the road is a psycho, assume every agent is lying. You should always ask about issues and always ask their offer and negotiation process. Will I get a chance to improve my offer? And if so, will I be contacted to do this? Negotiations can be tricky, especially if you feel like you've been pressured to increase your offer. This is where it gets more and more important to be firm with your offer and your negotiation skills and try and call a bluff if it happens. Understanding the seller's motivation and market conditions can help you navigate the negotiations more effectively. While it's important to be competitive, knowing your limits and sticking to them can help prevent you from overextending financially. But also keep in mind you want to negotiate in terms other than price, so things like settlement date, deposit amounts can give you the edge in negotiations. So the most common tactic real estate agents use is creating a sense of urgency or competition. Now they may not need to feign this because in the current market in a lot of places on the East Coast, it's genuinely busy and there's more buyers than properties available. This seems to happen almost every time where the agent says there's another offer out there, and whether it's real or not to create competition, it's hard to know. The reality is if you want the home, you need to go in there with your best foot forward. Now, why I mention is these tactics can be particularly impactful if it's your first home. It is emotionally taxing in these high pressure situations and it can really wear you down after time. The thing is, you need to be aware of it. You might experience increased levels of stress and find it difficult to make rational decisions and end up with buyer's remorse if you rush a decision or you take too long to make that decision. So how do you maintain your composure during these negotiations? First, set clear budget limits and stick to them. No matter what pressure you're on, don't exceed your maximum budget, which you've generally discussed with your mortgage broker. You want to become a suburb expert. You want to ideally narrow down to 3 suburbs maximum. Take time to understand and research those suburbs, what the houses or units you're looking at have been selling for, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power in the situation. If you know a 2-bedroom unit in the same complex sold for $500,000 a month ago, well then you know your maximum offer is going to be around $500,000, maybe a touch more if you're in a rising market. You want to prepare your offer and put it forward, but at the end of the day, always remember that there's going to be other properties available. Don't let yourself get pressured into a decision you're not comfortable with. Knowing when to walk away from a deal is just as important as knowing how to negotiate. And I guess it's worth adding some situations where you might want to walk away from negotiations. If there are significant issues raised during the building pests, like red flags, don't ignore them. Small things can end up being big things if left unchecked. Or if you feel excessively pressured or uncomfortable with the process, it's okay to walk away and find the next home. Buying a property is a huge deal. It's okay to take your time, ask questions, and walk away if it doesn't feel right. Don't let these tactics push you into a decision you're not ready for. Which leads to our next point, a solicitor review clause. In the current market, a lot of the agents are trying to get offers on a Saturday or Sunday, get you to sign a contract, and then put it to the seller to review. So it can make it tricky because your solicitor may not be working on the weekend. It's like, well, what do I do? How do I actually make an offer if no one's looked at the contract to sale? So unless you're a lawyer, you're not going to feel incredibly comfortable with signing a contract to sale without someone else checking it first. Adding a subject to solicitor review clause in your contract can protect you from these potential issues. If your solicitor finds an issue, you'll have a safe avenue to pull out of the contract. Speak with your solicitor on the exact wording you need to put in the contract to sale under the special conditions to cover you from this. The reality is many buyers will refuse to sign a contract until the solicitor have looked at it. But because the solicitors don't work Saturday, the contracts might have been signed and the ship could have sailed on your property before Monday. It sounds pretty brutal, it sounds high pressure, but it's the reality of the current market. If you want to be ready to go, even if you haven't identified a property, have a chat to a solicitor or a conveyancer to understand what you need to put in the contract if the right home comes up at the weekend. Because from what we've seen lately, properties can easily sell on a Saturday and Sunday right before your solicitor opens up on the Monday morning. Our next tip is more specific for Brisbane and Queensland properties, but it's for the initial and balance deposits. Now, this is an interesting one that an agent recently highlighted to me, and he said that a large initial deposit can make your offer more attractive to sellers because they're showing that you're pretty serious and financially capable. This is an interesting one because if you're the only contract to sell, it's not going to really matter. But if there's multiple contracts to sale, they're all at 500,000, your higher deposit could just mean, well, this guy looks like they got a bit more money than these other 2 people who've got a smaller deposit, and it's going to help you. An initial deposit is a bit of a show of good faith. It's an amount that you put down when you buy a property. It's usually held in a solicitor's trust account and shows that you're serious about the purchase. You don't need to pay this initial deposit until the contract's actually accepted. And also, if the contract gets terminated because of your finance clause or that subject to solicitor review clause, you'll generally be able to get this initial deposit refunded. The balance deposit, that's paid once your finance is approved or your building and pest clauses are all satisfied, is the remaining deposit you'll pay before settlement. Every little bit can help. So having a large initial deposit can provide you with a bit more leverage during these negotiations. Sellers might be more likely to negotiate on other terms. It just shows you're financially committed to the transaction. And the reality is you still need to put down your 5 or 10% deposit. So you're gonna have to come up with this money at some point. It just means you're having to put the money in a bit earlier in the transaction rather than waiting until settlement in 30 days time. 5, current market trends. Now, while prices in some suburbs have increased significantly, others have shown slow growth. So although I've been talking about how it works in a really hot market with lowball offers, if you're in a slower market, then the opposite could be true. But the reality is every city, every state, every market is going to be different. So it's essential to do research on the specific suburbs you're interested in. Like I said earlier, you want to become a suburb expert in 3 suburbs, maybe a maximum of 5. So you deeply understand how the suburbs work, how you should make your offer, and how it needs to be presented. Suburbs can vary widely in terms of price and demand. Some areas might be experiencing rapid growth because of new development, better schools, infrastructure, and families could be driving up prices. On the other hand, areas targeted by investors might have steadier, slower growth. Understanding these trends helps you make an informed decision. Some tools that can help are the Heron Todd White month in review. I'll include a link below, and just checking out the days on market in the areas that you're looking at buying. 6, our last tip when inquiring for properties. This is an interesting one that I was told about another agent recently. When you're inquiring about a property online or looking at putting an offer on there, the agent said something to do is on the real estate or domain inquiry, there's usually a drop down box that says, I'm looking at buying a home to live in, I'm looking to invest. The real estate agent said, if you put in there, I'm looking to buy and sell, the agent will call you back straight away because they're going to think, well, they're thinking potentially they're going to get you to buy the property, plus they're going to pick up the sale listing from the home that you're looking to sell. But if you want the agent in your corner, realistically, you need to show that you're keen on the property, you've got a good means to purchase, and you're ready to make an offer once you've seen it. As I've said earlier, you're not going to reveal how much deposit you've got, how much house you've got, but you can say, yep, that's within my budget. Yeah, I'm pretty flexible with price. I've got a really strong deposit. I'm ready to go. Realistically, all the agent wants to know is that you're serious. So by mentioning that you've already spoken with your broker, you've got a pre-approval, you're good to go, it can make you seem like a more serious buyer than someone that's just starting off and doesn't know what to do. So hopefully you learned some of the big common mistakes that first home buyers make when they're negotiating with a real estate agent. As I said earlier, giving away your exact budget can be a good way of getting rinsed in the negotiation. So my advice would be, if you're looking at buying a home, is when you're making an offer, speak to your solicitor to get that subject to solicitor review clause to allow you to make an offer on the weekend before the offices open on Monday. Remember, a lot of homes sell on a Saturday night, so you need to be prepared to make an offer on the weekend outside of regular hours. Secondly, avoid any lengthy special conditions. If you want the dishwasher or other things like that, potentially get your solicitor to add that in after the fact or do a separate. You can add extra conditions like include an outdoor table, but if it's subject to the sale of another property, it's going to make it more difficult for them to accept your property. Third, do not lowball a hot property. Even if you have more to spend, the agent's likely to go and jump on the next offer or someone that's higher without even getting back to you and not even giving you a chance to increase your offer. Fourth, a bigger upfront or initial deposit can make you look more secure in every instance. According to some agents, a large balance deposit and small initial deposit look like an uncommitted buyer. Hopefully these tips will help you buy your home. Let me know which was your favorite. At Hunter Galloway, we're the home for home buyers across Australia. We help lots of first home buyers with tips like these and the strategies to get into your first home quicker. If you want some help with your finance, hit us up at huntergalloway.com.au. We're mortgage brokers. We don't charge any fees for our services. That's it for today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Which is your favorite negotiation tip? And tell me what you've seen agents do when you've been in the market. All right, guys, until next time, see ya.